Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Nani, the episode we discuss anime you're currently watching. Today we're going to talk about the final episode of Lazarus, episode 13. We'll say The World is Yours, I believe it was. But yes, everything is coming to an end in this episode. We basically have, Abel against Inscom pretty much saying that, is that it was you. I'm pretty. I'm not sure they mentioned this last episode, but basically, is coming as the reason why when Skinner was at that airport when they had this prototype of Hopna, they came into the scene right there. Shoot everybody right there because they were trying to stop Skinner from exposing the dangers of Hopna right there. He got crossed on the crossfire, and the report as a terrorist attack, and that's what killed a bunch of people at that airport scene. So pretty much, I was saying you're the you're the reason behind all this right there. So we're coming here to take you in right there, which thought was pretty cool. Abel. Listen, Abel was definitely was more on the front lines these last couple of episodes right there. So I respect him for that. Now we do have Axel against the assassin, which our guy Axel is still hurt right there. And it looks like I couldn't tell if the assassin was still hurt or not, but like it was their last fight right there. While the world is coming to an end, you still want to fight me? I should for honor right there. But the assassin still has questions about the Honda and everything. But that's like you want to ask me. Now's your last chance right there. But they still fight. Iscom is still still trying to kill Axel and the assassin as well because the assassin will possibly leak all the information of what he asked him to do. So it was a nice decent fight right there until Iscom comes in with with their helicopter right there. But um the assassin. First of all, these guys are terrible. I'm sorry, but you're in a helicopter right there. You mean to tell me y'all you couldn't kill Axel and the assassin right there? You had a clear match right there. Like y'all are some awful shots. Now, granted, I'm not the best shooter either, but it's like, bro, like how the hell y'all kind of kill these guys right there? And it's like easy open fire right there. I'm sorry you didn't even launch a missile right there, but the assassin gets his bazooka right there, shoots it down. Hancock gets crushed down in the building right there, and the building crumbles. Unfortunately, the assassin gets hit by part of the building right there, and Axel, by a miracle, survives that entire fall right there, which is crazy. I don't know. Which we also learn about, the Hondos, the assassin's past a little bit even more. Is that he had killed everybody as we know, and the secret's like, which in a public form, which I think is pretty cool, is tell them that yes, you have become the assassin that we wanted you to be right there. But you're not gonna remember any of this what happened right there. We're gonna erase all your memory right there. They erase his memory, and actually they tell him, as he's like the guy's dying from the Cullen building right there. So he told him, you know what, the Hondo did have holes or like that, and then let me see what it says right there. Let me see on the seventh day, it died. So he even said that, I am no longer a monster then. I guess he dies in peace right there. Now, this part of the episode where, I guess it's interesting right there, but I feel as though the build up should have been better and the delivery could have been better because, after that, they're all on the way to see Skinner because it was reported that Skinner was in that homeless center. And so Abel says, all right, let me reveal the truth. So basically, when Skinner was at the airport, and that daily, prototype hop or whatever, killed everybody. All five of you guys were there, right? So basically, let me see. Basically, was basically what happened was that Elena says, "I had an induced fear, but it went away. Why is it? Because I should have died, right?" And so it's at the airport when Skinner, blah blah, blah, and with the suitcase, all that type of shit. All five of our heroes were there. Everybody died except for Axel. Well, no, correction. Um, their genes went under some. Their genes went under some mutation right there. I guess it turned to a mutant right there, which became a resistant to the drug. But they all died and came back to life. Skinner was trying to expose the truth of Hobna right there, as we know, but unfortunately, Iscom got it in there. Shot everybody and killed everybody, and so yeah, so basically they were all their densities were all entwined earlier on, but I feel as though that should have been a better build up as to to everything because it's like okay, cool, but it's like I felt as though the build could have been better for that. Like it was like okay, interesting, but hey, cool, I guess. But they arrive to the homeless center, right? And Doug's like, wait, hold up, was it? Yeah. So apparently, Doug, the homeless center they talked to was Skinner, and it's like, okay, I'm like, this can't be Skinner, right? Because I'm like, that would have been too easy. And it's like, all this time he was there. It was like, guys, like I get it. Being in a home center, it's like what? While our society is dying, you're not paying attention, to the homeless people out here as to why they're here, right? So it would make sense as to why he's at the homeless center, right? But it's like, dang man, a little bit anticlimactic how you're over here this whole entire time, right? And so they get to him, and Hershey says to him, "Why did you just leave?" And Skinner says, "I didn't want you to end up like me, because that day at the airport, that broke me." Which, yeah, I understand that. I gotta completely understand it because he saw the worst in humanity right there, and he lost faith in like seeing that little kid that they talked to and that kid dying in front of him right there. He just lost faith in humanity right there, which I understand that. I completely understand that, right? And so asked him, hey Skinner, so like was it worthless? Did you want us to find you right there? Did you want the world to end right there? Like was it worth all this? Like what did you want in the end? He was like, I don't know, what did you want? Like, what do you think about the world or whatever? And Axel did say, the world isn't at the place. But it has some nice qualities as well. Which yes, I agree. Like I agree that the world sucks, by simply there are still good people and there's still some redeeming qualities that we have. But like I'm not one of people that's like getting ready to end the whole entire society right there. I'm not like that, right? And so um I did think that did inspire, well, not inspire, but I think that gave hope for Skinner, and Skinner did give him the cause for the cure for Hopknot, right? But after that was over, Doug and Doug and Axel were like, so we sorry, Hirsch, can't let you go. We know what you're trying to do. We know too much or like that. You guys trying to trying to like get rid of us at the end right there. So it's like, yeah, Leyland informed them right there, and so it's like, yeah, like we understand we're saying the world right there, but we know too much of your information. We know too much of your secrets right there. So we know that we're expendable at this point, right? But Abel comes up like, you know what? After your hard work and dedication, we appreciate your work right there. You guys are free to go. All your criminal history has been erased, eliminated right there. So we want to thank you. But he did say, you know what? The world still has some mess up things right there that the world doesn't need saying right there. So if you guys want to form Lazarus again, please let me know. And it's your decision. Feel free. And immediately they're all like, yeah, let's do it. And it's like I was like, I'm looking for a reason to kick some more ass, and it ends like that. Which obviously I'll have like a season overall of this right there, but it's kind of fun where it's like, yeah, you guys are trying to kill us right there, but hey, we'll get rid of you guys again. Like that's a quick decision right there. But I think it's the fact that these people have bonded, which is why I feel as though they quickly said yeah. But I will give my thoughts about this ending right there. Now I'm happy that everyone survived, but like it would have felt more if one of them died, right? You would have felt more of a feeling towards that, right? But I'll let y'all know in my season discussion of Lazarus right there. Now I get it. It might not be people's favorites, but like I enjoyed it because I think there's a deeper message throughout Lazarus right there. But save that for the season review right there. But as always, folks, please give that video a like, comment, subscribe, and part of the spam right there. Share the video. Be sure to follow my social media accounts in the description box below. And always remember, Chico said, everybody, there is no such thing as a life better than yours. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.